Premier League primetime on tape. Jose, Cyrus, and Andre. And you know that Dave, I don't play. In the field, they can talk about it all day. Look, and we moving up. You can try all you want, can't move like us. When it all comes down, they choosing us. And I do gotta say, we don't give a fuck. Premier League primetime, and it's only that. Speak only facts, say what I want, can't hold me back. Can't hold me back. Premier League primetime, better yet, it's my time. You stay on the sideline, say what I want, can't hold me back. Premier League primetime.
Hello and welcome to Premier League Primetime, Season 2, Episode 3, and woohoo! I'm buzzing to be back, of course, with the Premier League Primetime family, and right now I'm just really, really happy at the moment. We've got Andre, Sirius, and Jose all back again. How are all of you doing?
I'm doing well, Davis. And you?
Been all right. Just settling in the school. I'm not gonna lie, it's been somewhat of a struggle, but I'm getting there. Serious, what's going on with you? Or are we just not gonna hear a response? Yep. Okay. All right. Just cheeky, serious, never responding. And actually, we did respond like the past 2 times. So that it's not a compliment. Andre, bud, how are you doing?
Good, Davis. How's the college life?
College life, not in the sense that it's been just a really, really bad start, but it's been somewhat challenging settling in, and I'm not gonna lie, I actually thought it was gonna be a lot easier than it was, but it's not easy at all. But jumping right into what's felt like an eternity since I've last seen all of you guys, which I'm super happy to see you guys right now. Let's just jump right into it, as you always do. Sirius, your beloved Arsenal. They have picked up. Unbeaten in 4 games. Win against Norwich, win against Burnley, both world-class sides, a win against, a world-class Tottenham side with a wonderful defense, and drawing Brighton. Unfortunately, couldn't put, the cheat Derby to bed there. Sirius, looking at just Arsenal and just the way they picked up, what are you giving them from an A to an F?
I think I'll give them a B plus. I think we played 4 sides who aren't very good.
Very true.
Brighton's actually been pretty good. I shouldn't say that.
Of the season.
But to be honest, I think that the thing that I'm most impressed about is about our center back partnership with Gabriel and Ben White. One goal in the last 4 games.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm really happy about that. That's probably been the biggest spark along with ESR. But besides that, I was pretty happy about all the games. The Brighton one, we didn't play well, to be honest. We did not play well. But, at least we kept another clean sheet. I thought Ramsdale was great again. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And that was actually going to shift it into my next question. Standout players so far. You named what, like just 4 or 5 right now. But if you could just narrow it down to like your 2 biggest standout players, who would they be in these past games?
Probably ESR and Gabriel. Honorable mention Ramsdale, but still, I think those 2 have been great. And as long as Gabriel stays fit and ESR continues, I think we should be doing okay.
Definitely, absolutely. And would you really say that there's any worse players or players who've just been somewhat disappointing, or no, not really?
Not really. Of course, maybe I could say Pepe hasn't been the best, but he hasn't, been starting. But, I thought when he came off the bench against Brighton, I wanted a spark, and he gave the opposite. But besides that, it's 1 game, so whatever. But besides that, not really.
Yeah. Now, lastly, Mikel Arteta. First question, what are you giving Mikel Arteta? And secondly, trust the process, question mark?
Yeah, I'd say B plus. I've always been Arteta in. I've stayed consistent, unlike Man U fans with Ole.
I'm gonna chime in right there right now. up to the Arsenal game, I was very consistent. Even after Manchester United got battered by Tottenham, and I just sit here next to Andre, while Andre is going crazy as Serge Aurier is just scoring screamers into the bottom left-hand corner. And I'm sitting there just having to just soak that in. I was still all in. But it was after that Arsenal game, which I just saw he had zero tactics and got completely schooled by Arteta. And if you get schooled by Arteta, that just says everything you need to know as a coach. And that pretty much gives my viewpoint. But anyways, Solskjaer aside, back to Arteta.
Yeah, I think, he was nominated for Manager of the Month. I think he's basically Pep almost in his prime. So, yeah, I'm going to go with a B+ for him, too, as long as it's a team, too. So, yeah.
Sears back again with the Pep Jr. comparisons. It always has me dying laughing. I'm not going to lie there. Next, we have Aston Villa. And it's been mixed. I mean, 2 wins, 0 draws, 2 losses. But I'll start from the top, losing 3-0 against Chelsea, winning 3-0 against Everton to bounce back, winning 1-0 against Manchester United. But, when Victor Lindelof is in, that's not that hard, to be honest with you. And then, unfortunately, losing 2-1 to Tottenham, the smaller club in North London. But, they'll bounce back. Jose, going to you, bright sparks. Who would you say has been the standout players, and then who would you say just has not been living up to the standards over these past 4 games?
Yeah, I think their best players have been the players who've been consistently great for them over the past few seasons. I'd go with Tyrone Mings he's been great at center back, and I think Douglas Luiz as well in the midfield has been really good. Other than that, I'd say Leon Bailey deserves a shout out. He hasn't played that much, but when he's played, he's produced. I can't remember which game he scored, but I know he scored in one of those games for them. Overall, Aston Villa, I mean, it's 2 wins and 2 losses, but they also played Chelsea, Everton, United, and Tottenham. So I think that's an acceptable tally against those teams. I'd probably give them a B overall.
Yeah, fair enough. I actually agree with that 100%. But I think one player that you missed out, Ollie Watkins. He's been scoring goals, definitely been scoring goals. Danny Ings has dropped, I'd say, slightly, not significantly, but just slightly. And Ollie Watkins, for me, has just picked up where he's just left off. And when I look at Ollie Watkins, I just think I think he's going to be born a star, to be honest with you. I think he's going to have some career going forward for him. And I said it last season, I rate Ollie Watkins. I think he's a really, really good player. Sirius obviously knows lots about Ollie Watkins. And no, I'm not talking about when he scored a brace against Arsenal, because of his time following Brentford and watching Brentford before they were in the Premier League. So, you can only ask Sirius about how good this guy is. Dean Smith. What are you giving Dean Smith?
I'd probably give him the same, B+, honestly. I think that's just the fact that he won against 2 of the teams in that list. I think it's pretty impressive.
Absolutely, 100%. Next, we have Brentford. And looking better rather than worse, to be honest with you. More positives than negatives. Losing only 1-0 to Brighton. That was their only loss in those 4 games. Beating Wolves 2-0, drawing Liverpool 3-3. I was watching that game, and it was like none of them knew how to defend. And beating a very good West Ham side by 2-1 right at the end. That was a crazy, crazy dramatic game at the end. West Ham with all those chances, they get 1 goal, and they're still going for it. Then Wiesel just puts it in like the last second. That was nuts. But Andre, bright sparks, players who haven't been living up to it. And what are you giving Brentford so far for these 4 games?
Yeah, I think I'd give them like a 7 or 8 out of 10. I think 7 points from 4 matches is a pretty good for a this early in the season for a newly promoted side. Especially that they really were just they kept up with Liverpool really well. They played very energetically. In terms of bright sparks, I think their keeper David Raya has made some crucial saves throughout their season that have kind of whether it made the difference between them getting a point or none or getting all 3 versus 1. He's definitely made some crucial saves throughout the season. Then the forward line, Ivan Toney still look threatening, along with Mbumo. They've looked dangerous. They're a balanced team right now. I think some people were thinking they might be like a Leeds United and attack, and then struggle defensively, but they've looked all right defensively.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with everything you said. And for players who just haven't been quite living up to it, are there really any, or no, not really?
No, I don't think there are any. There are any right now. I think they've looked balanced. I think they don't really have any liabilities that are that obvious.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they have to be just in bad form or horrendous, but just in the sense that they're not quite as we know that they're at, or they're just not playing, or yeah, not quite playing to where the team is playing at the moment, and just style and mentality and whatnot. That's
I don't really have any. I feel like if we're getting harsh, then I mean, Ivan Toney is delivered in a lot of other ways, but just the stats aren't there yet for Ivan Toney.
Yeah.
So that'll come with time though. I think Thomas Frank has done a really good job. I think he's probably up for manager of the month maybe if he continues this form.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, definitely. And Thomas Frank, what are you giving Thomas Frank so far for these 4 games?
Yeah, he's been such an. It's really good to have a manager like that in the Prem, especially for like a side like Brentford. His fan base the fan base of Brentford seems to completely back him. Like he seems universally loved all around the league right now.
Definitely.
So I think I think I'd give him like a 9 maybe. If he just seems so lovable right now.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, one might say I'm overreacting, but I think Thomas Frank is definitely up there for manager of the month. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Definitely. I mean, the results don't lie. The performances have been largely fairly to very good for the most part of this. And I agree with that. And seriously, just going to you really quickly, how good is David Raya? Because Arsenal were strongly linked with him in the past. I know you've seen a lot of him. How good can he be for this Brentford side this season?
Yeah. See, I don't care because we are Ramsdale, but I think he's decent. I think Brentford recently, I think they got him last season, if I'm wrong, because when I was there 2 years ago, I did not see him play. But yeah, I've been watching Brentford for a couple of years now, and it's really exciting for me at least, to see them doing so well in the Premier League. And I think they're going to continue to do decent. So
100%. And I think everybody from a neutral perspective, just wishes Brentford just all the best. I feel like Brentford's like that kind of club that you can't necessarily hate. You can't. And that you just, and from a neutral perspective, you just want to see them do well. And other than against Manchester United, I hope for all the best for them. Other than losing, 2 games a season, I hope for nothing but the best for them. Next, and seriously, sticking with you, Brighton. Again, another solid 4 games, beating Brentford by 1-0, another win against Leicester, drawing Palace, not so great, and then drawing the mighty Gunners, that is Arsenal. Serious bright sparks and players who haven't been quite living up to it, and then how could I forget to add on this question? Mopai's shithousery, 1 to 10.
Yeah, he had a super nasty tackle on Gabriel, and I thought Gabriel was injured, and the things I would say if he didn't get up, but it's okay. Mopai, last 4 games, he scored 2 goals. Not bad. He scored the winner against Crystal Palace. We saw what he did there at the end.
I think everyone saw what he did there.
A player that at least, I've watched a lot of Brighton, but I, of course, did watch the Brighton Arsenal game. His name is Cucurella. He played in La Liga, and he played for Barca for a little bit. But I don't think he ever actually played a game, but he was amazing against Arsenal. He didn't one foot wrong. Even Tomaseu, who's a great defender, was having issues with him. So I think that's a bright spot. Adam Lallana, he's been, it's not like he's been amazing or anything, but he's been consistently in the side, and yeah, not injury prone. So that's good.
I know, and I agree with that 100%. Not seeing Adam Lallana injury prone is just a miracle in itself. But
yeah, also mentioning a player that I've done a little something is Danny Welbeck scored against Leicester. What a legend. So yeah.
Danny Welbeck scoring iconic goals against Leicester, or important goals against Leicester. When have we seen that? But another player that, again, we saw how good he was last season for Brighton, and we'll highlight it again. Yves Bissouma. Isn't this player just superb, serious? He's just one hell of a player.
Yeah, we got lucky. I think he had some injury problems, so he didn't play against us. But wow, what a great player! I think he's. I don't know. I would say he's a top 5 center mid in the Premier League. Maybe it's going too far. I don't know what you guys think, but yeah, I would have loved for Arsenal to get him, but we have Ben White instead, so we'll see what he does this full season.
And actually, yeah, we'll take your question. I'll throw it around. Serious, and I mean, Jose and Andre. Yves Bissouma, top 5 defensive midfielders in the league. Would you say so?
Yeah, absolutely defensive midfielders. All around midfielder, I don't know, but defensive definitely top 5 at least.
Andre, what about you?
Yeah, he's quality defensively and offensively. He's a trickster. He's quality. That's that.
Andre, are you taking a wank to Lamella, or where's your camera, buddy?
No. He most likely is, but just I'm just saying. I honestly can't be asked. I honestly cannot be asked with it. Graham Potter. I mean, this guy's got to get a higher rating of some kind. 1 to 10 for Graham Potter series.
I was muted. I give him 9. I give the whole team a 9, to be honest. They've been pretty great, to be honest. The way they played against us was good too. A lot of teams, at least with former Arsenal, we used to have a lot of possession, and Ty used to just step back, but not these guys. They were going at us. They honestly, I would say they deserve to win. But yeah.
And Andre, like Harry Kane will be next summer, he has disappeared and has gone missing. I agree with that 100%. I mean, they've had a spectacular start to the season, and I watched that game, and I know I actually had time, on a Sunday where I'm not doing tons and tons and tons of homework. I was able to wake up and watch that game, and Brighton were spectacular, especially that the one player that you mentioned. I'm not gonna be like Robbie from AFTV and butcher his name, and just show him disrespect like that. But I saw bits of him when he was at Getafe, and he was phenomenal. He was very, very good. He's a wonderful player. Moving into Burnley and Jose.
I can do Burnley if you want. Since okay, Andre.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. And yeah, fill in for Andre temporarily. Serious for Burnley, 3-1 loss against Everton, losing to Arsenal, drawing Leicester, and drawing Norwich. They didn't even beat Norwich. Bright sparks. Same old. I'm guessing.
It's the same old Burnley, but to be honest, if we're being fair, Everton, Arsenal, Leicester, it's not the easiest schedule. Of course, they would want to do something against Norwich. If I'm saying like a disappointing, I think the 2 strikers have been pretty disappointing, to be honest.
Yeah. Wooden Barnes.
Yeah. I think if Burnley wants to stay in this in the Premier League, which I don't know, last season they got kind of lucky. I think they need a better striker than Wooden Barnes, because they are so slow. Holy shit.
Burnley did actually make it, one of their, like, I swear, like the first big signing I've seen them make in ages. Maxwell Cornet from Lyon.
Yeah, he scored. So at least that's a positive. I think that Tarkowski and me are actually decent center backs. I think they just
Tarkowski's a very good center back.
I think they're getting kind of violated in the midfield as well, because I don't think the 2 center backs can do everything for them.
No, they can't. They absolutely can't, to be honest with you. Dwight McNeil, still doing, in my opinion, is still their one creative bright spark along with Cornet now. So, the load on McNeil can just be lifted a bit more off the shoulders. Won't have as much pressure to be the one creative player, in my opinion, willing to take guys on and create and score screamers every time I see this guy play. But What did you give Burnley for so far, or for these 4 games?
Sorry, what'd you say?
What did you give Burnley for?
Oh, I'd probably give them C-. I would give a worse rating, but it was it's difficult, I'd say. At least they tied against Leicester. I'd say to get 2 goals at least for a side like Burnley and against Leicester, I would say it's not that bad.
No, it's not. I actually agree with that 100%. Sean Dyche, would you basically the same?
Yeah, basically. I mean, like in his prime, he's still shite. So see.
Well, all right. And next, moving to Jose, Chelsea. Chelsea only losing 1 game in the last 4. 3-0 win against Aston Villa. 3-0 win against Tottenham, which they were absolutely dreadful. But Andre's going to start saying I just rip on Tottenham all the time if I just say how bad the performance was. To be honest with you, losing 1-0 to City and beating Southampton by 3-1. In terms of just form, I'd have to say usually Chelsea just blow these teams aside just comfortably. Yes, they did score 3 goals. Yes, they did shut out two these teams, but it looks slightly less convincing, to be honest with you. But bright sparks, worst players, and what are you giving Chelsea out of 10 so far for these 4 games?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that Chelsea obviously it's been good that they're winning games, but I think that they have looked a lot less convincing, especially after the Champions League game against Juventus that they lost. It was a great goal from Chiesa, but they couldn't find. I just worry for them that they can't score a lot of goals. I think that the games they scored a lot of goals in, I think maybe the Villa game was an exception, but the Tottenham game, it was a lot of scrappy goals.
Definitely.
Goals you might not be able to score every game, and then they obviously didn't score against Man City, and they didn't score against Southampton really until the 80th minute. That was when they won that game. So I just think Chelsea are looking a little shaky. I don't know. I'm surprised. I didn't think that anyone could really unlock them like Man City did, but Man City played really, really well in that game, I have to say, and they deserved their win.
Yeah, it's a good way of putting it. It's not horrible. It's not a point where they should be saying Tuchel out, but it just looks slightly less convincing, is what I'd say. I'd say nothing really to worry about. I mean,
I'd still give them probably an A- for their games.
Yeah, that's fair. Bright sparks. Any players that stood out to you on the good or bad side?
I'd go Thiago Silva and Rudiger. Each of them scoring goals and obviously defending really, really well. I think Rudiger has been looking like one of the best center backs in the league, and I definitely wouldn't have thought about that at the start of the season.
Definitely 100%. And especially looking at the start of the season, I've gone a load of stick because I've been saying that Rudiger's better than Ruben Diaz is right now this season, and I think that's 100% true. But people could think otherwise. But in terms of form and like the difference he's making to the side, Antonio Rudiger
certainly up for debate, I'd say.
Yeah, up for debate, but I think Rudiger's just so class. He's such a class player. He's such a good center back. And Thomas Tuchel gave him the same rating.
Yeah, I give him the same rating.
All right, fair enough. Next, Andre, shifting to you, Crystal Palace. I'm not going to mention the first game because probably rip me apart if I mention the score and who it was against and how a certain song got sent off. 3-0 loss against Liverpool. 1-1 with Brighton. 2-2 with Leicester. Looking a lot better in these past 4 games actually than we actually thought it would be for Crystal Palace. Bright sparks, worst players, and what are you giving Palace out of 10 so far? And same with Vieira.
I think I was actually Palace and Andre was Everton.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Okay,
I know. On purpose, I switched you because he was out and he came in, so I switched both of you around. That was why. So, Andre, what are you saying?
Well, sir, so if you want to interrupt to talk about.
No, you can go, Andre. You can go.
We can both talk. Okay. Well, I think it is interesting this Palace side because they are a completely different look under Vieira. They play a lot of. They seem to hold more possession. They're not counterattacking as much. They've been a little unlucky. I think obviously they were really unfortunate against Brighton. They were so close to winning that derby. So I think Patrick Vieira, I'd probably give him like a 7. I think he's been different. Are we going A through F or 1 to 10? Because I thought on the outline it said 1 through 10. But you
Yeah,
guys
no, it's A. No, it's A through F.
Okay, A through F. Okay. Then I guess you
Doesn't
probably
matter.
go-
It really
I'd
doesn't
give him like
matter.
yeah, it doesn't. I'd give him like a B minus. I think he's been okay. Their Crystal Palace results is what it is. Bright Sparks Zaha has looked really sharp. Let's see who else. I know Oldson Edward or whatever his name is scored a brace against us on his debut. That was pretty impressive. Conor Gallagher. He's been really class in the midfield. Really a real creative spark there. And yeah, I think that covers Palace. They're just it's definitely a process with them. I think I don't think they will get relegated, but I think if they were to get relegated, I think Patrick Vieira, Crystal Palace in the championship could do like really well and possibly challenge for the title of the championship. Like this is truly a different Palace side.
All right. Vieira, same score.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh, Vieira gets like a 7 or a B minus, and then Palace as a team gets like a 5 or 6.
Okay. Now moving quickly to Everton, Sirius winning against Burnley 3-1, losing to Villa 3-0, beating Norwich 2-0, and drawing Manchester United 1-1. What are you scoring Everton and Rafa Benitez, and who've been your bright spots and players who haven't been quite up to the tempo that Everton are? Because Everton, bar Villa, they've been looking very good this season, actually.
Yeah. I think they've been decent. I think a bright spot has been Townsend. I fancied his Sue on you guys. I think Doucouré has also been very good. No, yeah, I just want to talk about that too even more. Like, what a great celebration. So original. But besides that, yeah, Everton's been good. That was a disappointing result against Aston Villa. I was honestly kind of surprised with what happened. I think Demarai Gray has also been pretty decent. To be honest, I don't think Digne has been as good as last season. If I could say anyone, but I think it's just start of season. Some people, like for example, Tierney hasn't been as good as last season either. So it's just the start. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And I'm just going to talk about that freaking Townsend goal for those past 2 games. And as I've said, settling it hasn't been easy. It's been a bit rough. I'm not going to lie. Not in the sense that it's been dreadfully bad, but just challenging, just like settling into any new place for almost any person, just because that's human, that's life. I woke up at 4:30 in the morning to watch both Manchester United get 1 point out of 6.
I also did that.
Boys. So when it thunders here, the alarm goes off. It just went off. So I will join you guys outside. Give me like a couple of minutes.
Well,
yeah.
Well, Sirius is going outside, and thanks for the surprise. Really appreciate it. And Jose, just shifting to you, just because Sirius is just gone temporarily. Who would 1 or 2 bright sparks for you be, and what would you score Rafa Benitez? Because I don't think Sirius scored Rafa yet.
It have to be Townsend. He's been fantastic since he came in.
That is very. I had my doubts, and he's actually been playing very.
I did as well. I think before I really only knew him from scoring that amazing goal against Man City, but now I think he's played really well. So is Demarai Gray actually.
Demarai Gray for me has been their biggest standout.
Yeah, player. I saw a picture on Instagram that was Demarai Gray and Townsend this season, and it was a picture of Robin and Ribery.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that as well. I called, as I've called him for a long time, Andros Townsend. He's the English Arjen Robben. I mean, put him in a Bayern Munich shirt. Put him on Arsenal's, on Arsenal's. Left or going up against Tierney. Yeah, he's turning into Arjen Robben. 100%. And wait, and what did you score Rafa again? I don't know if you said it, but
Rafa. Let me look at the games one more time. I would give him. I'd probably give him a B. I think the Villa loss is a bit embarrassing for him,
That was,
but I think he did well in the other 3 games.
yeah, definitely. And lastly, before we shift, staying with you and going to Leeds, I mean, when you're up against Lindelof, it's not that hard of a challenge, you know, to do. So I mean,
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily Lindelof. Obviously,
no, I know,
I think
but
he's not a-
McFred, both of them,
yeah, I think
both of them.
McFred's a bigger issue. Obviously, Maguire's would be better than Lindelof at the back, but
You
I think
sorely miss
more of a-
Maguire.
more of a McFred issue than a Lindelof issue, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and a big side guy has returned. And Jose, sticking with you, with Leeds losing to Liverpool, drawing Newcastle, losing to West Ham, beating Watford. Scores for Leeds and Marcelo Bielsa and bright sparks, players that have stood out, good and bad.
Yeah, I'd probably have to give them a C minus. Honestly, they've been really disappointing this season so far. I think their only bright spark has been Rafinha, and I think that was a given at the beginning of the season. I've been disappointed with Bielsa. Honestly, I think that he's been a bit naive in his.
Sirius is gonna give me, freaking epilepsy.
I think that all right, anyway, I think Bielsa's been a bit disappointing in his tactics. I think he's been found out by a lot of managers in the league, and it's been showing in Leeds' results. I think he needs to. At the end of last season, I think he did really well in combating the people who thought that they had found him out and getting draws and games that he could have lost and things like that. And I think he needs to find that again if he wants to have a good season with Leeds this year.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I mean, he's been found out. I mean, for God's sake, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer ripped him apart on opening day, and that just says everything you need to know. I'm not saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a better coach than Marcelo Bielsa. I'm absolutely not saying that. But I mean, if your style of play is getting found out and countered really easily and with a devastating effect, there's definitely room for improvement to say. Andre, on to you. Leicester. Of course, we all know how much you love Mr. Brendan Rodgers, bottling it every time, okay? And they were bottling it this time. They did not win a single game in their last 4, okay? Losing to Manchester City, losing to Brighton, and then drawing Burnley and Palace. What are you scoring Leicester and Mr. Bottle Job, Brendan Rodgers, for these past 4 games, and players that have stood out, good and bad?
No, they've been horrible. Oh my God. I know it's not Premier League, but we should talk about that. Was it Legia Warsaw that they lost to in the Europa League? Yeah.
They lost.
Yeah, they did. They've been really bad. I've been happy they've been doing some backs. It's allowed us to come out of our bad form and overtake them. I don't even know if they were ever ahead of us. They've been horrible. I think the balance in the team just doesn't seem to be right. Brendan just hasn't really mastered it. He's tried different formations, but they look very unsettled. They're not pulling out any results. Bright sparks. I think Vardy was looking better at the beginning, but I think he has trailed off. In terms of bad players,
their defense has been a shambles. Honestly, they have been shambolic at the back.
Yeah, I remember. I honestly didn't watch the last couple games, but I think we all knew Soyuncu was doing really bad. Did he? I don't think he kept his spot in the squad though, did he?
He's been horrid. I think.
I'm getting called.
I don't know.
He has. They haven't defensively. I'm just looking at a few of their last few lineups, and it's just very unsettled. They're going for the attacking fullback thing, but their defensive mids are Chowdhury right now. They haven't played what's his name they got? Samare. He's not starting right now. So they're still finding their footing. That's it.
Abakar Samare is a good player. I actually rate him. Yeah. He's a great midfielder. He's phenomenal. I think we should use him more.
when I was looking at, I mean, I think when we all look at their transfer window, there was a lot of optimism there that they could have a really strong all-around squad. But
Definitely.
it's just maybe they're going to take time. But right now they've been really not impressive. I think you'd have to give them like a. I mean, if you haven't had wins in the last 4, you'd have to give them like a 3 or 4 in terms of their score, or a D in letters. And Brendan about the same. I'll give
Your
Brendan
favorite manager.
a D. Yeah, he's not doing well. Never come to Spurs.
Would you rather have Nuno or Brandon Rodgers?
No. I still dig Nuno. I think he's a guy who has a good profile for what we're trying to be right now. As you can tell by my name, Nuno's little B word. I still love Nuno.
Jose, are you having any of this, or do you think Andre's just capping right now?
I mean, I don't mind Nuno. I think that Tottenham have
I'm
been.
not saying he's a bad manager.
I think Tottenham have been unlucky at some points this season. I think that they could have had a few more points than they do right now with a little bit more luck.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about it when we get to Tottenham. We're gonna have a good discussion.
100%. Next, Liverpool, and Liverpool are still unbeaten. That's really giving me that's really giving me the shivers, and that's just the last thing that I want to be seeing, especially when I'm still settling into college, not quite used to everything, still somewhat having some difficulties. And of course, the one thing I just see is Liverpool still unbeaten, and they are smack top of the league. I love seeing that. Putting 3 past leads, putting 3 goals past Palace, drawing with Brentford and drawing with Manchester City. So no losses, but still drop points. Drop 4 points. Looking at the grand scheme of things in the 4 games that they played. What are you scoring Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp and players good, bad on the standout side?
I'll probably give them an A-. I think the Brentford result, I think they were a little unlucky in that game. I think they played really well. But I think that they're looking very, very, very good. Back to their best under Klopp, I think. And I think Mohamed Salah, you could argue that he's looking like the best player in the world right now.
Absolutely, this season, and it's not just because of that one goal that everyone started saying about against Manchester City.
Honestly, I'll be honest. Like, that goal is like what told me that he's one of the best in the world. I mean, how he manages to put the ball in the net from where he started in that.
Allison, I watched that goal live, and that was
outrageous,
unbelievable.
The finish, the dribbling, everything it was outrageous.
And I think, and one thing, and I still know people who don't rate Salah and don't see him as a good player. I think surely that goal is just swept away the last of the Mohamed Salah haters. And look, when he first came in, I had my doubts. I was saying, why are they bringing this guy in? Like, he's I wouldn't say he was, other than the season that he just had at Roma, he wasn't any better than Origi.
Yeah.
But before the season that he had at Roma, prior to coming to Liverpool, I didn't rate him. He failed at Chelsea. I was like,
it's amazing how he came in and basically has become like the best winger in the world. It's pretty crazy, honestly. I definitely was not
one of their all-time greats. I'd say he's up there now for one of their all-time.
I think he's the best winger the Premier League has ever seen. I know it's a controversial. Yeah, I think it's a controversial opinion. People put Hazard above him. People put Ronaldo above him. I think that Salah, no one's been more consistent for more time than Mohamed Salah has been.
Definitely. Yeah. He's an icon at this point for Liverpool. I mean, may as well make a statue of him now. He's been immense for them. Honestly, he's been so good for them. And what are you rating Jurgen Klopp? Same score?
Yeah, A-, B+.
Absolutely. Yeah. Next, Manchester City, and Andre, I'll go to you since Sirius just has disappeared. Beating Leicester by goal to nil. I'm sure you're thrilled to see Brendan lose a game there. Drawing against Southampton, which is kind of surprising. Beating Chelsea and drawing with Liverpool at Anfield. Scores for City, Pep, and standout players.
Okay, yeah. They're doing well. I give them like an 8-9. I think there was definitely a cemented top 4, and Liverpool, City, United, and Chelsea. And at first, City seemed to be not keeping up with the rest of the bunch, but Chelsea have looked weak. Obviously, United have looked weak. Liverpool have come strong, so no homo. And it's looking brighter for City. They had a really good win against Chelsea. That was really impressive.
Absolutely.
They were looking creative on all fronts. That draw against Southampton was definitely worrying, but that did precede the Chelsea match where they bounced back. In the Liverpool match, they were I think they were unlucky in that the penalty decision against Milner could have gone either way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think Man City are still looking strong. They're another team that's still finding their footing. They've rotated the striker a few times, whether it's playing Jack Grealish there or what's his
Still
name?
going with the false nine. And it's amazing to see. They have Gabriel Jesus, their one recognizable striker, and he's playing him on the wing.
On the wing, yeah. Yeah.
Ferran Torres was playing for a little while. I don't know if he's injured or he's not getting in the team anymore. He had a really good start to the season, but I don't know what's happened to him, but he's just not been seen early in these past 4 games.
Yeah, it's just those that Guardiola rotations, right? That he's always been known for. You never know what lineup he's gonna come up with. I think he's only played the same lineup 2 games in a row, like once in his whole City career. So
he's like Oli. You never know what lineup he's gonna go with. You never know. But
yeah. Well, I give City probably an 8, or in the letters like a B+ or A-.
all right. Guardiola's gotta be the same.
And I think I'd give slightly higher for Guardiola because I do have some sympathy for him. He's found some balance in that team, and he's definitely prioritizing the result a lot of the time. You see them not playing as risky sometimes. So I'd give him better. Like, I think he definitely gets an A.
All right. And we did you mention any standout players or no?
Oh, I didn't. Shit, we've already talked for so long though. Let's go. Jack Grealish, definitely. Ruben Diaz. I think they're. Oh, Rodri was really good. It was.
I gotta say Rodri, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That amazing block on Fabinho. What was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable. I thought Fabinho was scoring surely, but that was an incredible block. But yeah, I agree with that. Keeping the pace moving. Next, Manchester United, and I swear, freaking I swear on my life, if that's Mike, not gonna be happy. I swear. Next, Manchester United, and I'll actually will get some input on this one, but Jose, I'll go to you first. We have been we started off with the CR7 return, and then it's papered over cracks, papered over the cracks. 4-1 win against Newcastle, beating West Ham, which was I'll say right now we were very fortunate. David De Gea saving a penalty. I mean that was written in this. I have no idea how on earth that happened. Then losing to Villa at home, luck running out, and then drawing with Everton at home. Scores for Manchester United and Solskjaer. I'll start with that.
Solskjaer, F. Manchester United, D. I think that the first game, Newcastle game, we were always going to win it. It's Ronaldo's debut. Old Trafford was like such a great place to be. Like if we had lost that game, I don't know about it. I probably would have had to go to my local bridge if we lost that game, honestly. But anyway, and the West Ham game. So I think in that game, I think we definitely should have won it. We had we probably should have had 2 penalties on Ronaldo in that game. Both of them I think should have been given. So I think we easily should have won that game. I was literally screaming when the referee gave West Ham a penalty at the end of the game. And then I was very, very, very happy, obviously, when De Gea saved it. And it was
the fact how he saved a penalty just like at
Yeah.
all. And
I think it was justice at work because we deserved to win that game.
It was justice.
in my opinion.
Justice, definitely. Well said and done.
Yeah.
And players that have stood out, good and bad.
Huh?
Players that have stood out, good, bad.
Oh, I mean, honestly, our players have been so shite, honestly. Recently, it's like Ronaldo in the Newcastle game and in the West Ham game has been great.
Standout could be good or bad, by the way.
Yeah, of course. Fred has been terrible. McTominay, I mean, it's just he's not playing in the right position. I think if he
And yeah, and
plays as a more advanced midfielder, I think he could be good, maybe off the bench.
how long have you and I been saying this about Scott McTominay and Fred, how the combo
Yeah.
doesn't work and how it hurts McTominay and it hurts Fred, it hurts both of them. We've been saying this for how long? We've been screaming this for how long? Since
Since the beginning of last season, honestly.
exactly, literally since the very start of the show, we've been screaming this constant theme of McFred and how neither player benefits. It's only the center backs that they're shielding, and now we actually have a center back with pace. They don't need shielding, but anyway, yeah, that's for another time.
So the point I wanted to make get across about United is that I'm very nervous for where we are right now because we have played no one good yet, and we have a ridiculously difficult run of games coming up.
Yeah.
We need to do well in if we're gonna we're in a top 4 race at this point. We're not in a title race, which is where we should be. But
Yeah, I mean, we're not out of the title race completely, but
No,
as
of
of right
course
now,
not. Of course not. But it's just I think we should have won all our games so far with the team that we have.
yeah, definitely 100%. And I'll just go over Manchester United real quick because as everyone knows, that is my team, and I love this club with all my heart. You know, I love this club so much. I woke up at 6:30 to watch that West Ham game and 4:30, 2 games in a row to watch us pick up a cheeky 4 points out of 9. So, you know, love it. For me, Solskjaer, I'll give him a D, not quite an F. Because I actually do think that
I don't know. I don't think he's done anything. I don't think he's done anything good in any of these games. I think that
I only say
I
D.
think the games he won were won on moments, like you said. They were won on moments, which he has nothing to do with. I think
yeah.
we won our games on moments, and we didn't win the other games.
No, absolutely. But there's a reason why I'm giving Solskjaer a D then. There's a reason why. You want to know why Jose I'm giving Solskjaer a D?
Sure.
Because you know, at the bare minimum, at least he put his shirt on the right way.
Yeah,
That's why I get to D. So I got that right, and pretty much everything else wrong. Donny van de Beek, you know what? I'm giving Donny van de Beek a massive round of applause because this guy is just, you know what? I'm so happy he cracked and people just finally notice how frustrated he is, and Ollie just actually had to say something about Van de Beek. And you know what? If he leaves United, I wish him nothing but the best. Honestly, if we play a team or whatever team and Van de Beek is on that team, I hope Van de Beek rips us apart. I hope he's phenomenal against us, just to show Ollie why, you know, he was so smart in picking McFred ahead of Van de Beek. But standout players for me, Lindelof. I've been saying this since last season, and when people started saying Harry Maguire's not that good, we don't miss Maguire, we have Lindelof. I've been saying it since last season, since he was injured, and we again sorely miss Maguire now. And we have Bailly, and I think Bailly's better than Lindelof. But it's Ollie and Mates FC, it's McFred and Vibes FC. That's what it is. And yeah, McFred, crap, to be honest with you. On the positives, Cristiano Ronaldo, of course. Paul Pogba, I think Paul Pogba's again, in my opinion, he's been playing very, very well. You know, sure, he may not be getting assists every single week and every single game, but the work this guy does on the ball, when he's put out wide, now he's just wasted out wide for me. You know, he was at a certain point last season, he was playing well there, but I just think he needs to be put back into the central midfield. Play him alongside Matic or Donny. You know, it cannot be Mick Pogba. That combo doesn't work. It does not work. I mean, it's better than McFred, but it just doesn't work. But yeah, that's about it. Andre, moving to you and Newcastle. As we just said, losing 4-1 against Manchester United, drawing Leeds and Watford, and losing to Wolves. Scores for Newcastle and C. Bruce and standout players.
Well, Davis,
Mike.
There's one sentence you can really do since that sounds like
Mike.
Newcastle. That's I would say maximum good, Newcastle bad.
Mike.
That's what you can say about Newcastle.
Mike, no one wants you here.
I agree.
I'm joking.
Not with
We
David.
love you, Mike.
Not
Mike,
with
we love you.
I agree with Mike. Is his name Mike?
His name's Michael. He thinks Jersey Mike's is the best sandwich place that has ever been on this freaking planet. And honestly, you know, I know it's a football podcast, but I have no idea how on earth he has a girlfriend. Because, you know, the fact, and you know what, I honestly I gave his girlfriend props for being with the man who thinks Jersey Mike's is just world class. Which I mean, if my partner ever thought that Jersey Mike's was world class, I'd just have to break up with them right away. But anyways, getting back on to the actual football. Newcastle. Andre, what do you say?
Did you hear what I said? What did I pick up in the mic?
Nope.
Really? I talked so loud. Okay, I was saying there's one sentence that you can do to sum up Newcastle, and that's Alan St. Maximin good, Newcastle bad.
Pretty
That's
much.
about it. Alan St. Maximin has looked really sharp up front, but the rest of Newcastle is just looked very subpar. Steve Bruce, I wonder what his odds are for being stacked. They can't be 2 whatever. I don't really know how odds work. Yeah, they've they're winless in their last 4, I believe.
Yep. Winless in their last 4.
Just 4-1 to United too. I do remember that result. Anyway, yeah, I'd say just Alan St. Maximin good, and the rest of them just very, very subpar, very, very average. So
Fair enough.
It's going to be a tough season for Newcastle.
Yeah, fair enough. I think we don't even need to give the ratings for Steve Bruce and Newcastle. I mean, that just says basically everything you know. I mean, one player saving his job.
Yep.
Simple as that. Jose, moving to you and Norwich. Losing, they were also winless, but it's Norwich. You can't have that much expectations of Norwich, can you? Although losing 3-1 to Watford, debatable. You could say that, they're a team that's somewhat near their level. Losing those 3 games in a row and then drawing Burnley. Has there been anything good for Norwich?
No, I think that it's like pretty much nailed on to finish 19th or 20th, in my opinion. They're gonna go straight back down like everyone predicted they would.
Yep, and then they'll smash it in the championship and they'll get a big welcome back.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, well, the only goal they scored was a Timu Pukki goal.
Yeah, Timu Pukki's been, in my opinion, the standout player because he scored a goal for them.
Yeah, I mean, like who else? Like no one else is doing anything for them.
He's not even playing Billy Gilmore. I mean, they have the GOAT Brandon Williams.
Maybe they should try the Watford approach and just sack their manager when he gets to the league, and then maybe bring in a more Premier League proven one.
100%, yeah. Jose, actually sticking with you, we have Southampton 0-0 against West Ham and Manchester City. By their standards, and Southampton, very good results. But losing 1-0 to Wolves and then losing 3-1 to Chelsea, not great. But even though they were winless, looking at the teams that they played, you know what? You got to give Southampton a bit of credit here. You honestly have to. Those are not an easy 4 games to play. Definitely, absolutely not at all. You're playing one of the most informed teams of last season, the best team by a mile and by a landslide last season. They're the European champions, and Wolves, who are all right, but they're still a decent Premier League side, and we all know what Wolves have and what weapons that they have in their attack and whatnot. Scores for Southampton, Hasenhüttl, and players that have been standing out for them. And I think I already know one player, but he's just standing out every single time he steps on the pitch.
Yeah, like I'd probably give them a C+ overall. I mean, winless, so I can't rate them too highly, but they did play some really good teams. I think it's obvious where their issues are, and it's on the attack. I think that it was very predictable. I mean, they lost Danny Ings last season, so what can you do? I mean, there's not really someone you can replace for that kind of money and that amount of goals. Their best player, Ward-Prowse, has to be. Other than that, I mean, their defense has been great. I mean, well, it was great in every game except for the Chelsea game. But other than that, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I agree with that. And yeah, I don't think it looks like Sirius will be coming back. Well, I mean, we're gutted that you probably won't be coming back this episode. Sirius, we love you. We really do. We all love you. You're loved. Next, Tottenham Hotspur. And honestly, I really just want to just say how it is, but I'll pretend that they've been absolutely superb. They were brilliant against Crystal Palace, losing 3-0. They were superb against Chelsea, particularly the second half. I have to say, brilliant second half against Chelsea, conceding 3 goals. An absolutely wonderful North Derby. performance, North London Derby performance against Arsenal, losing 3-1, and not the prettiest performance, but they grinded out a win, typical Nuno style, 2-1 against Aston Villa. Scores for Tottenham, for Nuno, and for standout players. I mean, I'll say this right now. If the Tottenham players had a Halloween costume contest, Harry Kane's winning 100%. 100%. He's the scariest that there is. He's the scariest ghost I've ever seen. What are you saying, Andre?
Go fuck yourself. We definitely some very disappointing results. I think we already talked about Palace game in the last episode. I could be wrong. We were plagued by injuries, so I don't know why you even brought it up, Davis, then, other than to embarrass us. The performance against Arsenal, we had a really good second half, but the first half was woeful. And Davis, your analysis was completely wrong. It was because of our high press that we failed. We didn't sit back, you piece of shit.
I didn't. Whoa. When did I say that you guys sat back?
You said that. You said we defended in our own half. That's not true.
Not today. I did not say that today.
Not today, just before, right after the game in our own private group chat. And I was mad at you. I actually did.
After the Chelsea game in the second half, you guys were basically on your own half the whole game.
In Chelsea, yeah, not Arsenal.
That's what I was talking about.
No. Okay, well, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about bright sparks. Our last match against Billow was a complete change. We changed the formations, put the diamond. Heung-min Son was a complete leader. He was a different breed. I thought maybe the best player on the day, like of that game week, after Mo Salah, possibly. He was. I think we often look to our leaders in being Kane and Højbjerg. But I remember against Arsenal, when we pulled that one goal back, it was Son that was actually encouraging the rest of the team. And I'm starting to really see Son's leadership qualities right now.
Son and Kane for me have small places.
What is it?
A commentator was saying, I think it was during the Villa game, that he feels like Harry Kane and Heung-min Son have swapped places, in the sense that Harry Kane's always been the one scoring basically the talisman, and Son's either at the same or just below him, or just below him, just in general. And he's quieter, and he's just not necessarily being seen for just given as much credit. But for me, Heung-min Son's been Tottenham's best player by far this season. I think if Heung-min Son were not at this club, I don't know where on earth Tottenham would be. But Heung-min Son's been.
I think there probably is some truth to that. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that Pep called it the Harry Kane team, and these last few matches, it's felt like Son's been the beating heart of the team. Truly, he's been really good. In terms of other bright sparks, other rival fans won't say it, but Emerson Royal has had a really good game against Villa.
One good game.
But then Tomiyasu had a bad game also. So it's all topsy-turvy.
Tomiyasu's had a series of good games, not just one.
Okay, so he's had a good start, and then he trailed off, and Emerson did the exact
Emerson has had one good game.
That's not true. He's had a lot of moments. Emerson, he's 20 years old or something. He came into a new league under a totally struggling team. I don't think any of Arsenal's starting 11 have ever seen Champions League football with their team. Let's just talk about that. Okay. Anyway, Tottenham, we definitely picked up. I'm excited for things to pick up after the last international break, but we're woeful so far. So I'd probably give us like a 5. Nuno, I would have given him a good score if not for that of an Arsenal match where he was horrendous. So I'd probably also give him a 5 or C's or D's for both. So we're already above Arsenal again, by the way. They took a photo with 300 staff members after they were above us on alphabetical order, and they're already below us after one more game. Like, Jesus Christ, they're so sad, man. Stuff for Tottenham.
In terms of players the one I think I heard you score Tottenham. And am I not right? Did you score Tottenham and Nuno, or?
Yeah. I'm giving them like a C minus, I'd say.
And who are the players that you said just weren't up to standard? I mean, other than the scariest ghost in world football right now.
I did choose to avoid calling out our bad players, but if I'm gonna do it,
you gotta call them out. You got to
Well,
call him.
first, let's say, by the way, that our maybe best player after Son has been Oliver Skip. I want those two starting every goddamn game. Let's go bad players.
You got to call him out at this point, bro. You got to
Are you-
call him.
Are you gonna say Dele Alli? Is that what you're gonna say? Or
No,
what?
no. The scariest ghost in world football.
Oh, Harry Kane.
There
Oh,
you
well,
go.
I mean, his stats are whatever, but and I think in the 15-16 season,
Marcy Ice Tony has scored more goals than him so far this season. That just says everything you
All
need
right,
to know.
fine, okay, fine. Kane has not been good, but he
Good
will
job
pick up.
on him. I
He will
really
pick
need
up.
it.
Okay. Yeah, he will pick up though. Mark my words. I think Brian Hill said there's only one sure thing in football, and that's that Harry Kane will get goals. So everyone needs to calm the fuck down. Sorry, I'm cursing so much. I'm just very passionate about my team.
Listen, I think Harry Kane will pick up, but he's been awful. He's been dreadful this Premier League season so far for the far majority of it. And I mean, speaking pure facts when I'm saying it. Next, we have Watford losing to Wolves, beating Norwich, drawing Newcastle, and losing to Leeds. They have not had that challenging of a schedule in comparison to a Southampton, where they have played three of the 4 teams are top level teams. They have not played many top level teams. I mean, for crud's sake, they played Norwich and Newcastle. Jose, what are you scoring Watford and Zisco? And do you think Zisco deserved to be sacked? And thoughts on the imminent appointment of Claudio Ranieri? Fabrizio already confirmed it. Gave it, here we go. Thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think last season the Leeds game would have been a harder game. The Wolves game obviously was a difficult one for them, but I think that you're a newly promoted team. Losing to Wolves is not the biggest deal. Neither is Leeds. I think Leeds are when Leeds turn up to a game, it's hard to beat them. Otherwise, obviously, I think that Cisco should not have been sacked.
Yeah. I predicted at the start of the season who the first manager would be sacked, and I said Zisco. I said he would be the first one because of Watford's history.
Yeah, it's the easy pick, honestly. It's the one that we all figured was going to happen, regardless of whether he was having. He probably could have been in fourth place, and they would have been like, no, let's get Ranieri in. Let's get Ranieri. He's done it before. Maybe he'll do it again. Anyway, I think that I love to see Ranieri come in, just because usually he's shit. Other than when he was at Leicester. So I think that Watford will be an easier team to play against now that Ranieri is in. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Yeah, I think Zisco is just wrongly sacked, but then again, it's Watford. Claudio Ranieri's position's already under pressure. He's got 3 games. If he loses 1, he's out.
Yeah.
Standout players, good or bad?
Standout players, Ismail Assar, definitely. It's fantastic. I think he just really deserves a move to a better team than Watford, in my opinion.
I remember when we didn't sign Sancho and we were doing the Sancho alternatives. What was the saying that Forward made up? Tada, it's Sar. Tada, it's Sar. If we had signed Sar, probably would have cried because that meant we wouldn't sign Jadon Sancho. But then again, Ole's been basically crying out for Sancho, and he's not even playing him in the right position. I guess for right now, for the best 11 you have right now in terms of wingers,
At least
Sancho and Greenwood should play.
When Rashford is out, I can kind of understand it, but otherwise, when Rashford comes back, we need to see Sancho on the right.
And Mason's not been rested, and if he keeps playing Mason all these games, of course I'm not comparing the talent of Mason Greenwood to Daniel James, but as I've said so many times, look at what Daniel James did when he first came in. He was looking like a really good player, but he played him every single game, ran him into the ground. And I very much fear if he keeps going on this rate with Mason Greenwood, maybe something similar could happen. And I would be devastated if something like that happened to Mason Greenwood, because that kid has got unbelievable talent. And I think only someone incredibly biased would say that this kid doesn't. In my opinion, he's got the world at his feet. But enough about Mason Greenwood. Andre, going to you, West Ham, and hasn't looked that great. Although, unlike Watford, their schedule's definitely been a bit more challenging, I'd say. They played some better teams. Drawing Southampton, losing to Manchester United 2-1, which is very unlucky at the end of the day, I have to say. Beating Leeds by 2-1 and losing to Brentford by that same score. Scores for Moyes and West Ham and standout players for West Ham, Andre.
Yeah, I think definitely Mikel Antonio has seemed to have an impact on every match that he's played so far, whether that be a red card or just banging in goals and assists. He's definitely been the standout player. What is it?
He's been their best player this season.
Yeah,
I
think he's maybe been the best striker in the league this season. I think he's.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Jose, are you agreeing with that?
Yeah.
He's been quality. He's got strength, pace, and now he's kind of added that bit of quality that he was lacking before. So he's definitely looked stronger.
I'd also throw in Pablo Fornals and Jared Bowen. The work that those players do, especially on the defensive side of the game, and going forward, especially Jared Bowen. I mean, there's another English Arjen Robben for you. Do not let this guy cut inside or.
He loves that.
He loves that upper corner, and he's a quality player. Jared Bowen.
Shut up, Mike.
Definitely.
They've looked an exciting team. I've also the goals haven't come yet, but I'm still a huge fan of Said Benrahma. He's looked dangerous. He's been a creator, but he's been unlucky so far. I think later in the season we'll see the quality that he brings to this West Ham side. I think he'll outshine both the players we just mentioned personally. I'd probably give West Ham. They've had some slim margins, so I think I'll give them like a B. But that loss to Brentford did sting. I think their score would be higher had they gotten that win against Brentford, because that's a game where they should be winning.
Yeah,
it's a newly promoted side.
I assume it's the same for Moyes' score.
Yeah. I give Moyes like a B. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. What about players who haven't quite stood up? Because for me, there's actually one who, surprisingly, for as brilliant as he was last season, he's been sort of slightly, not tremendously, that it's really bad, but he's been somewhat fading away, just looking at the impact that he had last season, and even like the first game or two.
Is it Sufal, Chris, or who is it?
No, I'd say Thomas Souček.
Oh, right. Yeah. He hasn't been as impactful.
The ball hasn't been terrible. It's not been terrible, but just like.
Yeah, he's not like. I mean, he was like one of their best scorers as a defensive midfielder last season. So it was really exciting to see that. But I mean, we haven't really gotten to see that this season. You're right.
It's not incredibly worrying, but just you can notice the levels have dropped. But by high standards he set for himself, that's kind of the issue. He set such high standards of himself last season that we were all used to seeing Thomas Souček basically score almost every single week. But he'll be back to his normal self. I mean, him and Declan Rice are still one of the best midfield pivots in the Premier League, arguably the best in my opinion. But that's a debate for another time. I mean, Ndidi and Wilfred Ndidi and Yuri Tielemans, Conte, Jorginho. But I mean, we all know McFred's number one. McFred's number one in my heart, in Jose's heart, and especially in Solskjaer and Mikey Thielen's heart, and of course Kieran McKenna and Oli Mates FC. Big up McFred, just best midfield pivot in the league, obviously. And last but not least, Jose, Wolves losing to Watford. Beating Watford. Not losing to Watford. I don't know what I'm on. Losing to Brentford, beating Southampton by 0-0, and beating Newcastle by 2-1. Scores for Wolves and Bruno Lage and standout players.
Yeah, I think they've done pretty well. The Brentford loss was a little disappointing for them. So I'd probably give them a B+. But otherwise, they've really improved on the first few games of the season. They started scoring goals. I think their standout player has no doubt been Hee-Chan Huang. Been fantastic for them so far.
Oh my gosh! My friend Gavin, who I had on the last segment, he's been doing nothing but just like raving constantly about him. I've been having to walk through, the common room of my area, and I've been having to walk quickly because I don't want him to look up. And every time he sees me, literally every time he sees me, he goes, "Oh, Huang Yi-Chan is better than Sancho. Oh, look at the stats this season. He's better than Sancho." And
So far this season, he's not wrong, is he?
no, he's not. He's not wrong, but he's saying, he even told me that Huang Yi-Chan's legacy left in the Bundesliga is greater than Jadon Sancho's. I kid you not. And yes, you heard me correctly. And Andre, you heard me correctly. He said that Huang Yi-Chan's legacy in the Bundesliga is greater than Jadon Sancho's. And of course, I agree. I agree with that 100%. What more can I say, my friend? Anyways, scores for Lodge and Wolves before we wrap it up.
B plus, B plus.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, definitely. And also, lastly, before we head out, another thing about my friend. He said he would be more than happy to shift on Ruben Neves for 20 million pounds. Yes, 20 million pounds, Ruben Neves.
Well, yeah. He's an interesting lad, this guy.
When I first met him and he was telling me things like that, I thought myself and his roommate thought he was a very interesting lad. But anyways, again, serious, we love you and miss you. We hope to see you back soon. Andrea and Jose, anything else to say before we wrap up this show? And also, Jay Cyrus, big up your damn self. Big up your damn self for what you've done off the cameras and off the set. You are absolutely superb. And I love you, my brother. Jay Cyrus, you are an absolute goat. Yeah. Anything else to say?
You hear that, Davis? I don't know if it's playing right.
No, I can't. No, I can't hear it. But Andre, I'm gonna lose my sense of hearing.
Michael was playing a capitulation song. That's what it was.
Please, I honestly have nothing to say. My capitulation.
Are we gonna use the intro song, the new one, to the next one?
I don't know. We'll see.
Well, get ready, PLPT fans.
Yo, PLPT. Yeah, you heard it from all. Be ready for Jay Cyrus. But anyways, that's all we have. If you've loved our return, please smash like on the video, comment below, on everything. I'm ready to sit my ass on my desk and twiddle my thumbs for like 2 weeks as I watch Gareth Southgate bullshit boring football for 2 weeks, and I love that. And yeah, wherever you're watching this in the world, have a great day or evening.